Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Matt and Rob Talk About F1. I'm Rob, and with me today is...
Matt, still.
Hey, still
like
Matt.
Every week.
Yeah, it never changes really, does it?
Yeah, I think it's always us two.
Yeah, weird. I mean, our names are in the title, and I don't know
Yeah.
another Matt.
I guess that makes sense, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, today we're going to talk about this week's Grand Prix. The second British Grand Prix, or more so the 70th Anniversary Grand Prix of the 2021 F1 season. And we'll start out
2020.
right off.
What do you have with 2021?
Oh, I said it again!
Man? Again, twice in a row, man. What's up?
I was thinking, don't say it. It's 2020. I've got it written down right in front of me. Don't say 2021.
2021 have happened.
Of the 2020
again.
season. Again, already looking ahead so much. For numerous reasons. But we'll come to those later on. Let's start with the qualifying predictions.
Yes.
Matt, what did we say last week about the
We
qualifying?
said, well, let's start with you. You said Hamilton, Bottas, and Leclerc. Interesting.
That's
I
what
mean,
I said.
you know.
That's what I said.
And I said Hamilton, Bottas, and Verstappen. Both wrong,
No, but better.
really. You know,
Both
we're
wrong,
not
yeah.
very good with that, you know. Happened to be
yeah.
Bottas, Hamilton, and Hulkenberg, which are very good. I'm very happy with this top three, to be fair. I mean, it's very good.
Yeah,
But-
like both quite nice things. I mean, Bottas beating Hamilton is nice to see.
Yeah.
Nice that Bottas, sort of gets ahead of Hamilton. But more so, I think, P3.
Oh, yes. Who
Yeah.
didn't want to see that? Who was the person who was not happy? I mean, I need to talk to him. I won't understand how.
Probably Verstappen, I think. Probably Verstappen is probably the only one who's like...
No, he was fine. He even got
Was he?
he went and kind of shook Hulkenberg's hand after he qualified. And he was like, congratulations and everything.
Fair enough.
So
I mean,
even
yeah,
the
like
drivers are happy about it. So, you know, everyone was
Yeah.
happy, really.
everyone, especially I think Twitter and all his fans and
Oh, yes.
everyone really who's watching, I think was really... Because after what happened to him last weekend,
Oh,
where
yeah.
he
that
showed up
that was
or got a-
heartbreaking, yeah.
got a call on Thursday, came, jumped in a plane, came over to the UK and just spent 2 days like getting ready for the race on Sunday and then just didn't start. Yeah, that's a nice sort of, payback. Payback?
Yeah, I guess it was just his way to I think it was just great to see that, he could make a statement like, hey, I'm 4/10 on my teammate that was used, way better used to the car than I am, has experience, 3 Grand Prix already in the car, various testings and qualifying, and I still beat him, by a lot. And I put
By
it
a
in
lot,
P3.
Yeah.
With only,
Second-
just 3 practice and a qualifying of experience.
Exactly. Hasn't trained for 9 months.
Yeah.
I think it's been 9 months since he sat in an F1 car, and then P3. That was absolutely incredible. That was the highlight of that.
After the qualifying, there was quite a few
Qualifying
pictures
session,
of him and Perez together and saying could that be the 2021 pairing? I was like, that's not too bad, to be fair. Wouldn't be that bad.
It wouldn't be that bad, would it? No. It's
Then
interesting, yeah.
It's there is Vettel too. Do you want Vettel out? And do you is Stroll out a possibility at all? It's just so many
I don't know.
integration points there.
But I mean, Hulkenberg, tried on the suit already, tried on the car, and it fits pretty well. At least for qualifying, it fit him very well.
And I think it's also a very good marketing thing for Racing Point, because right now it's not the best
definitely,
time image-wise for them. So I think, having a very, very likable person that everyone is cheering on in that team could be something good.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. But yeah, that is all speculation at the moment. I don't think we should go
Or imagine
too far into
Hulkenberg
that.
and Vettel, a fully German team. That would be
I think that would be my dream.
that'd be great.
Yeah, I think so.
I would like to see
that'd
that.
be awesome. Yeah, unlikely, but I still like to see that. I mean, I think at least what Hulkenberg has proven is that he is a world-class racing driver who can take, quite a bit of time out, involuntarily. Unfortunately, he didn't want to, not race, and then come back and just be that good
Very competitive
in a
for
qualifying
sure,
session. Yeah, super competitive and sort of get the most out of the pink Mercedes. which I think was great.
Then we did the Ferrari prediction too. I don't have your your Leclerc prediction. I have that you said Vettel 6th.
No, you have my Leclerc predictions. You said that last time round.
I don't have it. I have like you said like Vettel. Oh,
Top
sorry,
3.
I'm
Number 3.
Wow. Okay. I am just whatever. Let's forget about that, right? You said Vettel 6th and then Leclerc 3rd. Of course, I'm just.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
And I said Leclerc 5th and Vettel 8th, and it ended up Leclerc 8th and Vettel 12th. So not as good as we thought. Not as good as we thought.
No,
for Ferrari again.
No. Both drivers were pretty unhappy with their results of the
Yeah.
qualifying. Vettel definitely more so. I mean, he didn't make
Cool.
Q3. That's absolutely insane.
That hurts, yeah, for sure.
That hurts a lot. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was just the start of a very, very bad weekend for him. So
Yeah. I
It's,
think we'll get onto Vettel's race in a moment anyway. But yeah, that's sort of, I don't know, not that it was necessarily expected, but like, 12th place is sort of after what happened to him last weekend where he just couldn't, I don't know, figure the car out or like whatever it was that his setup wasn't quite right, things like that. There's loads of things in the back of my mind where I'm thinking, is he getting a different treatment to Leclerc and stuff like that? But
he was asked, like someone asked him, like, do you think your car is different than Leclerc? And he was like, I don't know, I don't think so. But there is something wrong with my car for sure.
Yeah, or I think he said something like there's something that I'm missing or something that his side of the garage isn't doing right. And I wonder how much of it is his side of the garage and Leclerc's side of the garage, because they have their own, as far as I'm aware, they have their own mechanics and two different teams. Because they need it, right? If there's something wrong with on one car, then you need the amount of people to work on it. And how little like talk there is between sort of the setups and things like that, because the difference in qualifying was pretty bad, and the difference in the race was even worse. But we'll get to that in a minute. What did you think of the Ferrari performance?
I think in qualifying it was just like, I mean, you can't really be happy with that. I mean, it's just such a downgrade from last year. I think who would have thought, like, even the drivers, I mean, who would have thought that, after like months of like trying to develop something for this year and like even the lockdown, like giving a bit more time, even if you had to like have a break, but it's still like you could just figure stuff out, and just come out and be like way slower, like just like losing multiple places in the constructor championship. That is just, who would have thought that? I wouldn't have imagined that it could be something possible. Like that just looks like a nightmare for everyone involved in Ferrari. I think it's just a very tough way to go to work and just like, know that it's not going to be easy. Like, I mean, maybe Leclerc is going to pull something out of the bag, but if there is luck in there, like if he finishes 5th, that's amazing. So, that's very last year was, first would be like a, normal thing to do, and this year like 5th is amazing. So
exactly. To just sort of and for Vettel to not like get high up at all is just,
I mean, I think
sad.
I think it looks like going to be like a very messy divorce, to be fair. I mean, it looks like it's just going down, and like the relationship is going, like it's going to crash all the way to the bottom. I think, sadly, I don't think it's going to end very well between Ferrari and Vettel. To be fair.
After the last race, we talked about the radio sort of communications, and
Vettel, this week was even worse, the radio communication.
It was worse. We'll get to that later. Let's finish off the qualifying.
Let's mention a few things about qualifying, and then we'll go straight into the race. Exactly.
So Verstappen was 4th, and then Ricciardo was 5th, which I thought was quite good.
Yeah.
Renault's, his sort of performance in the Renault, I think, is strong again.
Yeah. Compared to his teammate, was very strong. Very strong. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I don't know if you heard about the thing on the radio that Ricciardo said to I think it was his engineer.
I don't know. What did he say?
One of my favorite things. He was like, his engineer told him that, or came on the radio and was like, "Oh, we're close, almost there with what we set in the bet." Ricciardo and his engineer have a little bet. I think it's about qualifying or it's about the race. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not sure.
Uh,
What, yeah, it was a race like a podium place was the bet.
Yeah,
It
I
was
think that,
last
I
week.
think
It was
that's
last
right.
week because he finished fourth last week, and it was like
Oh, was it last week? Oh,
yeah,
did
it
I
was
miss
last
that?
week.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was last week. But he finished
Okay,
fourth,
well,
and it was
anyway,
like
yeah.
very close to the bet. So yeah,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
it was
Sorry. Yeah.
last week.
Last week's then. Yeah. But again, like with the fifth qualifying position, that the podium is getting closer and closer. So maybe,
Yeah,
if anyone wondering what the bet was, I think it is the engineer is supposed to get a tattoo of Ricciardo's choice, so Ricciardo can choose whatever tattoo he's going to get. But I think his engineer can choose where it goes and the size of it, so it's not all bad if
it
Ricciardo.
happened.
Yeah, if it happens and he replaces on the podium, I'd absolutely love to see that. And also, like, again, just sort of showing how good Ricciardo and how funny Ricciardo is, like, and like what a
Oh
good
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
driver he is. To sort of
He is amazing.
most of his
Yeah.
interviews and everything like that's just hilarious.
Yeah, we noticed that Ocon was blocked in Q1 by Russell.
Yes.
Like that was definitely like a big block, but I think there was no penalty right there. So yeah, I think it was just maybe he didn't see him. I think there was quite a few blocks this week, and people didn't see people coming behind, and engineers
Yeah.
didn't do their jobs properly to just tell the drivers to like go on the side and let people pass. But
Yeah. Stay off the road. Yeah. And
yeah,
you
it
know,
was kind
with
of a little bit
anything,
dangerous for sure.
yeah, and so sometimes, the way sort of qualifying are run is that everyone tries to do it at the last possible moment and things like that.
Yeah.
Because the track sort of gets better, it has more rubber down, and things like that. So yeah, I think there was one where there was a very slow car and then a slower car, and then there wasn't enough space to like get three cars on sort of the same part of the track. And yeah, that's always terrible if you're on your fast lap.
Oh yeah, it's so
or, like,
dangerous. Like
trying
the
to come
difference in
out,
speed is
yeah.
insane. I mean, the closing speed is very big. So
Yeah,
you don't
absolutely.
want to be that. Yeah. Then yeah, Hulkenberg, great performance. Vettel 12, that was disappointing. Bottas
Very
beating
disappointing.
Hamilton. That's well, that was I think very good to see for Bottas. I think, and for also people just saying that Hamilton is just like Bottas doesn't deserve the seat and everything. I think that's always good to see, and just like he can actually he is very good and he can actually beat Hamilton. And sometimes like
Yeah.
as we will see in the race, I mean, sometimes it's just not always up to him. The results.
No, that's very true. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was
Sure.
the little facts about qualifying. So I think we can go to the race.
Yeah. Should we do our race predictions first?
Yep, let's do that. Do you
I
have them?
had.
Yep, let's go.
Yeah, I've got them here. Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
And as far as I'm aware, yours was exactly the
Exactly the same. Yes. Yeah, a bit different.
That's boring,
the,
isn't it?
the result was a bit different, but we were very close. Very
The
close.
result was a bit different. Yeah,
We
I actually prefer the
underestimated
result.
someone, but apart from that,
Yeah. Exactly. So the result was Verstappen 1, Hamilton 2, Bottas 3rd. Yeah, we'll get into those details in a moment. Quick Ferrari predictions. I had Leclerc on 5th and Vettel on 6th. And
Well, you had
Leclerc.
Oh, you had Vettel. You had Leclerc wrong. Sorry, I thought he was 4th. I thought he was 5th, but he was actually 4th. So.
Yeah, he was 4th. Yeah, and then I think you had Leclerc on 5th as well, right?
Yep, and Vettel
Yep.
8th. So not good.
Vettel 8th.
Yep.
Both overestimated Vettel's performance on the second weekend on the same track.
He just ended up where he started. So that was not the best. Yeah, for sure. I said that
exactly,
Albon
yeah.
was going to be finished 4th. Almost. I would have been almost a true prediction. Like if just swap Albon and Leclerc, that was almost right.
Almost right, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
not enough,
pretty- that's
though.
pretty good,
It's not
yeah.
enough. Almost is not good enough. You have to be perfect.
No, exactly, no. So again, if anyone who's listening was coming here for race predictions, just don't.
Yeah,
We're
just-
not good
Just
enough.
don't listen to it. Just
Exactly.
there's probably people
Um,
better than us. I hope there is people better than us.
I hope so too, but like I think going into what the results and everything, Mercedes just didn't expect.
Oh, and we
Sort of
didn't
what
expect. I
happened.
mean, in our prediction,
And-
we didn't
yeah.
expect that the tires would make such a big difference.
No, what I'm saying, we're not the experts in that anyway. But even people that should know, a Mercedes,
So
They
we are in the
should
same
really
level
know.
as Mercedes engineers, we're the same level. Kind of the same,
That's a nice way of looking at it, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I like to think that, Um, but yeah, let's go. What do you want to do first? Do you want to talk about the results, or do you want to like go
Um,
through the race?
we can go through the like the little highlights of the race. Let's do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
yeah.
yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. What I'd written down is sort of that the beginning of the race when it was lights out was actually like sort of fairly good. I mean, we like the whole race didn't have a safety car.
Yeah,
Which is sort of
that was weird because since 2012 there was a safety car at every race in Silverstone.
right. Yeah, like
There
that
was two
that
last
was
week,
incredible.
So
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's why there wasn't one this week. But yeah, I think I don't know if that comes down to sort of racing drivers getting more used to the track, having another weekend at sort of the same track, and sort of really knowing where the limits are and where you can put a foot.
yeah,
Badly
that
wrong.
could be right. To be fair, like that could be something.
Yeah.
There was a few mistakes
like-
still, but not big mistakes.
Oh yeah. Definitely a couple of spins and things like that, but nothing too crazy. I mean, the first spin was Vettel himself.
Very early on, like
Very early on.
Couldn't do it earlier than that. To be fair,
No, unless he just does a donut like immediately
Yeah,
on
the spot.
on the start position, just does a 360 and then goes.
I mean,
I
how?
don't know if that's allowed.
I was like, I couldn't believe it when I saw Vettel on left. I was like, that's just not possible.
I know. And
What is
because of like
happening?
I know, right? And but like you watch it live, you're like they always just show sort of the front 4 or 5 however many they can fit in the shot, because that's sort of what's
Yeah.
super important to the race win. And it was just like, oh, Vettel spun. And I was like, what happened? And then you look at it and nothing really happened.
Yeah, it was just a weird spin. Like they said like he probably picked up some like single wheel rotation or whatever. Like he lost the grip on
Yeah.
one wheel and just like it spun him. Well,
Yeah, like you sort of got like a
the real
sort of-
right was on the grass, kind of like on the inside
Yeah.
of the curb. So that was not an ideal way to place the car. So probably that.
no,
that's what
exactly, and that's
happened.
sort of thrown him out. But like somebody like Vettel, who's a very experienced driver, you think that a small mistake like that you should be able to correct and not go into a
I mean,
full
to be fair, like the last few years hasn't been the best for little mistakes for Vettel, and also I think if his headspace was not
yeah.
perfect, like in the last few years, then this year is definitely the worst it has been, like probably ever. To be fair, like I think just the way Ferrari like dumped him, and then now like the way his car is not performing at all. I think
Yeah.
there's just like things like a thing like a top of a thing, and it just like accumulates until like it. I think he's just not in a good headspace, and I think now it won't be good for his performance. I think it doesn't do justice to his like ability yet to perform. I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully, a fresh start could mean like actually the
Yeah,
better-
fresh start with a new team. I think is sort of the only thing to look forward to for him personally, to like sort of get out of that.
I mean, maybe
Um,
pressure also didn't help him the last few years. Like pressure to beat Lewis and get the world title. Maybe that also didn't help.
Yeah,
Like, and put him in like a too much
the,
pressure.
the
and maybe
expectations. Yeah,
trying
the
too
expectations
hard
were
and-
massive. Yeah.
trying too hard. He was leading when the whole like Vettel time started was when he was leading at his home race in
Yeah.
Hockenheim, and then after that, like went out of the track. Then that all started the spins and the mistakes, and maybe
Yeah.
there was a little drop. That I don't know. Very sad to see. I
Yeah.
think he's a great guy, and I think I missed seeing like the very happy and funny Vettel.
Oh,
doing
absolutely, because
interviews and stuff,
he definitely can be, and he's like actually he's not a very super serious. He's not like a Bottas
No,
or Raikkonen,
no,
who's like
yeah.
always quite serious. He's
like
actually a very
he's between
jokey,
Ricciardo
fun
and
character.
Lewis. Like he's between Ricciardo and Lewis. He's like kind of joke but serious. But
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's not like he's sort of Ricciardo or Norris even or something like that. Like always super jokey. But yeah, and I think like we said, like driving for Ferrari isn't only the pressure from the team, but also the pressure from the media, especially like the Italian media. Because
and everyone,
like
I
they
think it's like
absolutely love.
Ferrari. You have to be good. It's like like it, but that's what you have to happen. It's like Ferrari is the best. You
Yeah.
have to be the best. You have to win. If he doesn't win, that's your
Yeah.
fault or something like that.
Yeah, and I think it's just like we said, I think that marriage is coming to a bitter end.
Yes.
And I'm not honestly not looking forward to seeing sort of the rest of the season because I can't imagine it improving massively.
I mean, after the
from
radio
both
message, I
standpoints.
think. Should we talk about the just finish on Vettel?
Yeah, while we're
Let's
the
finish on
subject
Vettel,
of Vettel. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think the radio message was basically like in the first stint, I think in the second stint they pitted him, and he basically ended
Yeah.
up behind Sainz, very close to Sainz. Also,
Yeah.
we have to also mention that Sainz had a very long pit stop because I think the rear tire or whatever had a problem going on.
Yeah.
So that also probably didn't help Ferrari's strategy.
No, definitely.
But
yeah.
it was not like a huge amount. I think it was like probably 3 seconds more for Sainz. So it was not like that huge of a difference, you know. I don't think it didn't make a huge difference.
No, it wasn't,
at
and
the
he
end.
also ended up with like a group of cars in front
Yeah.
of him anyway. So it was
There was
Sainz, and
Sainz,
then
but there
like
was a lot
3
of
more
people in
cars.
front of Sainz. Yeah. So
Yeah, so
and, yeah,
yeah.
go for it. You can tell.
No,
the
yeah,
rest.
that really wouldn't that really wouldn't have changed anything, I guess. I mean, it's just Sainz in front of him. Sainz wasn't supposed to be there, which is fair enough, but the rest of the cars were definitely there. And I mean, the whole like thing boils down to that the strategy, like we said previously from Ferrari, just I don't know,
Yeah,
just
it
doesn't
wasn't-
seem
yeah.
to be that great, especially for Vettel and especially in this race.
Yeah, I mean, to
and
be
he
fair,
said-
like for Leclerc, it didn't work in Hungary. So I think
Yeah,
overall,
yeah, like we said.
Ferrari strategy is not great. So I think if you're not lucky, it's gonna fall on Vettel on top of all his unluckiness, you know, over the last
Yeah.
few years. And I think just the strategy coming on top of that doesn't help really.
Yeah, but basically Vettel was very vocal on the radio about the strategy and was like saying, "You guys messed up. Like we talked about this, and you guys did it anyway." And I wanted to stay like the whole thing was that he wanted to stay out. I think it was before his first pit stop, maybe even because his tires felt good, and he had messed up, but he was trying to get back as much as he could, and he knew that the car, or he maybe doesn't trust the car enough to be able to overtake cars in front of him. You know, if he is stuck behind a group of cars that are sort of similar in speed, there's probably nothing he can do. So his only hope was really like strategy to sort of claw anything back.
Yeah,
And
and
they
also I think
let him down
the car
massively.
probably didn't feel good behind people. So that was like literally said
Yeah.
in the morning they talked about like how it wasn't something they didn't want at all to be behind cars, like after the pit stop.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah, exactly.
literally-
Yeah.
Like he literally said like, you know, we talked about it in the morning and you did anyways, so I'm gonna stay behind, but you know that you messed up. So
Yeah. You
That's, you know,
know that you messed up.
the openly like, you know, criticizing Ferrari and like
Yeah.
so I think it was definitely like a very big moment in the relationship, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I
And I
think it
think
was
most
probably at
drivers.
the same level of Alonso when you said GP2 engine, kind of, you know. It got to this kind of, like, you know, you can't come back
Yeah.
on this, like,
Yeah.
words like that. I mean, you know. And
No,
you see,
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
that was probably not the best move from Alonso, too, because now Honda is kind of good, you know. Like, he suffered the bad years of Honda, but, you know, now he cut it like a relationship that was there. And, you know, maybe sometimes, you know, in the emotion, you say stuff that shouldn't say. But anyway. But I think Leclerc,
Yeah.
like Vettel is still
100%.
I mean, if they talked about it in the morning and they did a mistake, literally hours later, I mean, that's something you can't do. It's like
No.
you're professionals.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you know.
And I guess like at least let him, I guess, make some of the choices. Like if he's saying I want to stay out, let him stay out and stuff like that. And then, because there wasn't really anything to lose at that stage. Like he was already fairly far behind. And if his tires felt great, like stay out on the tires, you know.
Yeah. And
Like,
then if there's
let him
like
do
one rule to follow, you just follow. I mean, just wait and find another way. Just don't put him behind people. That's
Yeah, exactly. You know, yeah.
like
I mean,
he
like-
doesn't understand the car. So the only thing he understands about the car is I can't follow people. Then maybe just
Yeah.
try that, you know, and maybe it's gonna do something.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, for
Leclerc
sure,
was
yeah.
Leclerc was in free air. It was like in no man's land, and he
Yeah.
did like a one stop and had a good race. So maybe that's
Yeah.
also why. Maybe because there was no one in front of him, the car was maybe better.
Yeah. I wanted to say, I think like the whole sort of strategy was, it's just all a tire thing and different cars sort of behaving badly and different cars, you know, absolutely great with or fine with the tires in anyway. But one thing I just wanted to mention is that you hear it on the radio a lot. Like drivers get upset about their strategies and stuff like that. And it's like Hamilton has done it multiple times. Like, oh, why have you guys done that? Why have you guys done this sort of thing? Like they question decisions, but rarely do they say it like the way Vettel has said it, where it's like calm, collected. You guys messed up. Like
it's more like a questioning the decision. That was definitely like a criticizing.
Right? Yeah, it's like openly saying you guys are wrong. Like it's just not. Yeah,
like that's your fault. It's on you. Like the mistake is on you. Like that's very strong words.
Yeah, and on the other side is you have teams that listen to their drivers. Like well, maybe not listen, but like it's sort of more of a dialogue, right? Like what happened with Verstappen and Red Bull. So obviously after the first couple of laps, Verstappen had just overtaken Leclerc. So he was on not Hulkenberg. Sorry,
like at the start, really. So
yeah,
that
really
was
just
good and disappointing at the same time. I was like, our hopes of a podium for Hulkenberg is gone after.
It was like
second.
that. Like it's just yeah, exactly. That was such a shame. But then the good thing was that he could follow Mercedes like super closely, and he could push them and like really put pressure on there. And then his race engineer came on and was like, we gotta watch these tire temps. We gotta make sure we don't overheat and stuff. That is like, I'm not doing that. I'm not driving like my grandma. Like I got one chance to sort of go for it, and he did, which is sort of what I was trying to say is that like
he
they let him do
like
that
crazy. Yeah, he was on the back of the Mercedes and he forced them to pit, and then the whole race like started there.
Yeah, especially his race sort of came from that decision to really push at that moment.
Yeah, sometimes it's like Vettel when Vettel in Hungary said, let's not do soft tires, let's go for mediums. It's like sometimes in the experience and like this driver is feeling how the car is behaving. So like
exactly.
I think that's like a very valuable like thing for like a driver is like if you can trust the driver like feelings about the car, you can make great decisions.
Yeah.
And
definitely
pushing the Mercedes because he felt the car was good and the tire was good. It was great. So that was definitely the right call.
It was crazy for me to see the difference in tire, not even management. I think like there was nothing Mercedes could do to manage those tires to not have a blister, by the looks of it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw at the end like the camera sort of like did a close up of the I think rear tire of like Hamilton or something like that. Yeah, and it just looked horrendous. Like if that was on your car,
but at the end he didn't catch anymore because his tire was starting like after 2 laps. It was already starting to blister. It was insane.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy.
It was. I mean, they didn't imagine at all that the tires would do that. Mercedes, and I think I don't know. Maybe like the Mercedes car is made for like if the tire like behaves like normally and it's not a factor in the performance, then the car works well. But if the tire is kind of a factor in like how it works and stuff, then apparently the car doesn't work that well with more like tricky tires to handle. I think apparently the Red Bull was amazing. No problems at all. Like the car was just the tires were perfect.
Yeah, I don't know if that comes down to only sort of the driver sort of thing. I think it's both like Max Verstappen being really good at like using the tires to fully, but not like destroying them and like being able to sort of look after them. I guess.
I think it was definitely a car thing. I mean, like.
But
like
and then also
it's Lewis is the experience he has with managing tires, and he couldn't do anything. I was like nothing you can do. So.
Yeah. And I think like I want to say it comes down to the setup of the car, where I guess an easy explanation would be that they're using as much of the tire, like they're putting so much pressure on the tire to be able to have all that grip and put the power down and stuff like that. But by doing that, the softer tire compared to last weekend, just didn't hold. It wasn't.
What is interesting is like it started to blister so fast, and the interesting thing is like how didn't see that in free practice, because they do like race simulations and stuff. So like if it was that sensitive, like it's interesting that maybe they changed something like a little wing thing or whatever, and it made a huge difference. But I mean, otherwise they could have seen something in free practice. I mean, or at least a little hint that it could happen. But apparently they were totally taken by surprise.
And I think
like they were pushing very hard in the opening laps. Like they were like pushing, and then, like after like 5 laps it was done.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like you get like the blistering and the lines on it and stuff like that, and you just because of last weekend and what happened to both their cars, the tires just going out. they had to be like super careful. They were like super worried on it. Yeah, and I think
Verstappen
Yeah,
was
and
able to get first, pit, come just out just a little bit behind Bottas, and people were
that was insane. That was so. Oh my god, that was so refreshing to see.
And Crofty was like, "Oh, it's gonna take them he's gonna take them a bit of time
Yeah.
to overtake
Couple of
him."
laps.
First corner, done. Like he was
It's nothing.
insane. Like the difference in grip and speed there was no match. It was just a unfair battle. It was just the Red Bull was completely dominant.
Yeah, and that was so like refreshing to see that like somebody could take the fight to Mercedes, and also not just take the fight to them, like really dominate them in that way. And some people were saying it's because of the hot temperatures as well, because it was very hot. It's still very hot in the UK at the moment, and it's gonna be hot again next weekend. So it's very interesting to see what Mercedes is gonna do next weekend.
Yeah, apparently it's gonna be very hot
Spain.
in Catalonia. So
Catalonia. Yeah, exactly.
But
So
I mean, I think
definitely
it's
looking forward
gonna.
to
I think everyone is asking for like the softer tires and like a 2-tire strategy, like a 2-stop strategy for future races. I think it was a very entertaining race with no like weather involved into it, except for warm, except for like hot temperatures. But I mean, it made for a very entertaining race, like all over.
Yeah.
And I think like it's definitely a great way that the FIA should look into to improve the sport. I think making the car like budget and stuff is interesting, but that just showed that how you can make two races on the same track completely different just by putting softer tires. That's it.
And like all that was missing for that race to go absolutely crazy would have been a safety car at any point.
Yeah.
If both Mercedes had just pitted, there's a safety car, a virtual safety car, everything changes completely. That's just like, I mean that's really good to see that there's an option for them to, without like going backwards like we said or doing anything else wacky, to just have two different races at the same track.
Or just go for softer. I mean, next week they should go for softer tires or like the same tires that we had this week, just to push like a 2-stop strategy and like make a 1-stop very like risky. So almost no one is gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like we didn't see Leclerc at all during the race, like on TV, and he did 1-stop. So I think it was like no one showed how he did it, and like how impressive it was, like compared to the others. Like I think Verstappen, to be fair, could have done it.
Verstappen could have done a 1-stop, and I think they just tried to cover.
Yeah, it was
themselves.
not worth it. It was like I think it was too risky, and just like they could afford the 2-stop. So.
They were trying to cover themselves against Bottas, who just had the pit stop.
Yeah, and he literally
they
said
were worried that
on the medium, he was like, just forget about like management, just push as hard as you can. And he was like, oh yeah, we're gonna fully send it then.
fully send it.
And he probably stayed on the tires for like 5 laps or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just go all out. Get everything out of the tires. Make sure they don't explode. Other than that,
this guy's. I mean, you can like him or not like him or whatever, but. I mean, thank God he's here. I mean, like, how much excitement has he bring to Formula 1?
Yeah, like, not just this season, but the last seasons as well. Like, I wasn't...
The overtakes, the speed, the battles, the even the radio messages. Like, again, this week, remember, he's on the last lap, remembering his engineer to drink and sanitize
his hands. Yeah. You must have sweaty hands. You should sanitize them. Great, just like those radio messages and everything like that. I think it's becoming my new favorite thing to like listen to radio messages after the race and just
drivers are getting funny. Drivers are getting very entertaining on the radio.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It was either entertaining or upsetting depending on what happened to their race.
On the Ferrari side, it's not that. It's entertaining for a different reason.
Basically that's sort of what led Verstappen to win the race, because Mercedes was so bad on the tires. Hamilton's still second, which I thought was, I don't know, I thought it was kind of heartbreaking, because Bottas' strategy was supposed to, the idea was they were trying to cover Verstappen for the win, but in the end it sort of cost him second place.
Yeah.
I just felt so bad for him, Like he could have beat Hamilton for sure if he was on the same strategy as him.
And now
if
Bottas is third in the championship now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's you just can feel for Bottas. I mean, it's like he was the dominant driver this weekend, and
Yeah.
by none
He was,
by it was not it was not his fault at all. It was just a strategy mistake, and that's it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, mistake
exactly,
or not.
and
I mean, it
it's-
depends how you see it, but still, the strategy wasn't in his
Yeah.
favor.
It's kind of hard to see, but it's just annoying to see. Like if you're Bottas and your teammate again through no fault of your own, that's happened.
Yeah.
You know, it's happened to him previously where he was
Yeah.
on like just the wrong strategy.
Yeah.
You know, just loses against his teammate, which is just
And he said, like in
That
the
was
interview
annoying.
just after, like he was a less than optimal strategy, and he was, a little bit critical, and he said that he was going to talk with the team and see what happened. But
Yeah.
tricky. I don't know. I think I don't think they deliberately did it. I think it was just like again trying to cover for first, and as you said, and it didn't work out at the end. So
yeah, for sure, definitely.
Albon. Let's talk about Albon. I think
Yeah,
well,
Albon fifth.
he lost a bit. He lost. I think he could have done fourth, definitely. He just lost a few places
yeah.
at the start, which
Yeah,
impacted him a lot, and then he was behind a train of drivers, and then he had to pit super early. I think it was on.
yeah. He had like one of the earliest pit stops, right?
It was
Yeah.
very very early on, and even with that, he managed to do some amazing overtakes. To be fair, probably the best of the weekend.
Amazing. Yeah,
like
I don't know
the one on Kimi Raikkonen was insane. He was not.
Well,
even on
oh yeah,
track.
with the
He was
wheel
on the
to
curb.
wheel. Yeah. Then Kimi just pushes it wider. He goes even wider. But there's because there wasn't gravel or anything like that, it was okay. He could stick in there with him. It was just amazing.
And it was like in the commentary they were saying like, oh, he's lucky that Kimi left him space. I was like, he didn't leave him any space. He was on the curb. There was literally, it was not 1 inch of tire on asphalt. He was just on the curbs. I was like, that was amazing. And he fully sent
exactly,
it like, and then he did it again, and I think like three different times. And the last one was on Gasly, and like he even said that was the toughest one to overtake. And I mean, again, like Gasly very strong, but I'm glad Albon passed him and finished in front of him. So
Yeah, we were having a discussion about whether they should the seat, who gets a second seat next to Max. I guess is sort of the question there. But it's nice to see this weekend and last weekend as well. Like his race performance, his race speed is great. The car's great, and he sort of gets.
He has very good space.
Yeah.
Maybe something in quali like mode or whatever or setup doesn't suit him, but when he gets to, I think if he had qualified like higher, he definitely would have been like maybe podium like with Max somewhere near the podium because the car was a good space,
right? Yeah,
and the tire was like the tire was way better on Red Bull, so maybe he could have challenged for, because the Racing Point, at some point we thought, and even like the commentators, the team was like saying like maybe they could catch up on the Mercedes and hope for the Mercedes to fall even more and get there, but apparently the Racing Point was not close to performance as we thought. But no. I think definitely Albon, if he was starting fourth, could have been definitely on the podium, I would say. But I mean, good race, great overtaking. I mean, it just shows that he's a good driver, and I think very happy for him that
it's nice to see that he could sort of repeat his race pace in again this weekend, and I hope next weekend if he can get a bit more out of it in qualifying, and if it's a similar sort of race where other teams might be struggling with their tires, wouldn't be too hard to imagine that he might get a podium, which would be great. That would hopefully boost his confidence enough to make sure he stays with the team and everything.
That would be great. I mean, I think he definitely needs some kind of boost in confidence for sure. Because I think even if there was pictures of him celebrating with Verstappen, I think it's still tough for him. I think to just finish fifth and then be like, we won.
Again, for him, that's such a great result.
Even the team is supportive. I think the team is supportive. They still were he did a strong race with great overtaking. I think he must wonder if they are fully honest with him. In the back of his head, it must be do they really believe it, or are they planning to replace me?
Yeah. It's their talks, and am I going to be gone? I don't know. I like to hope that it's a bit different to what other teams do, Ferrari, and that they're just more open with him and just tell him straight. Because at least then they don't, he shouldn't worry about things like that because he needs to focus on the race and the
And
qualifying.
apparently they
and
maybe
nothing
learned
else.
from their mistake with Gasly and like
Yeah.
other drivers before, and just like give him more time to actually get used to the car. And like everyone was saying it, Button was saying it, and there was also saying like the car is definitely built around Verstappen and his way of driving, like very on the nose, very like twitchy. And if you're a bit of more an aggressive driver, then it probably won't suit you and it's going to be trickier to handle. So hopefully a bit more time will allow him to actually get to grip with the car and show how good he is. Because everyone, like every driver that knows him, is saying that he's a very, very fast driver. And even like Jensen Button and all these guys were saying like he's very fast. Just needs the opportunity to actually show it. So hopefully we'll see that happen soon.
Yeah. I hope so too, and I think he'll get there with a bit more time. And then behind him we had Stroll and Hulkenberg.
Yeah. Weird pit stop at the end. Apparently because he had some vibrations. Some people saying that Daddy Stroll paid for like called or whatever, and
I did not see that.
It was on Twitter.
Daddy Stroll.
He was on Twitter, and then the team actually replied to the comment, and the team actually replied and they said like, to the last, to the best of our knowledge, he's not a race like strategist or whatever. And I was like, okay.
No, but he's the guy with the money.
Yeah, but I think it was like a funny like they actually like comment like reply to the tweet, so that was kind of a funny thing for them to do. Again,
I like when teams are sort of.
I still think they actually did like probably followed like he had a vibration probably to be safe, just spit it to him. I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's anything more behind that. I think doesn't change much I think it doesn't make his weekend less impressive.
No, I think so too. After he didn't get to
he was in
get
front
to drive
of
last
Stroll
weekend.
for the whole race. Beat him straight, like fair and square at qualifying, was beating him in the race. Maybe something went wrong with the car and had to pit. I mean, still very impressive. And so,
100%. Yeah. And for him, I think that's a really, really great, really strong result. I would have liked to see him obviously, but higher. But
also, I think if it's a team order, I mean, it could be understandable because you're like, or you give Hulkenberg a bit more points, and you're like, but what's the point? Because it's like he's gonna probably be gone next week, or you give your actual driver that's gonna be here the whole year a few extra points.
Yeah.
And to not look bad, you don't like call like a team order to swap on the racetrack. You just beat him, and then maybe he gets the fastest lap too, which I don't know if he did. I'm not sure.
Actually, don't know. I don't know who got the fast lap. I think,
but I think he was. I can't really see that. I don't know where to see it, but anyway. I think even if it was a team order, I'm not that mad about it because it can be understandable, and it was not a podium kind of third to fourth kind of a big deal, But still, very strong race by, I think, both the racing points. To be fair, Ocon had a strong race too after a very disappointing qualifying.
Yeah.
Sadly, Ricciardo, it could have been a very strong runner race, but Ricciardo had a spin by himself, like Vettel.
Yeah,
ended up
I did
14th.
see that. Yeah.
So that was kind of annoying.
That was heartbreaking for him. Yeah, because I was hoping he'd get higher than that. Yeah. In the overall race at the end.
And Norris, he's turning out to be like a amazing like at races. Like races were not his strong suit at all last year. Like the unluckiest driver on the field with races and this car like stopping and and then this year just turning out to be an amazing actually race performer. Like he's performing really strongly in the races. Again, like in the points, 9th. So it's not as good, but it's
not as good. No,
he's still like well placed. He's still well placed in the championship, and he's still he's getting points every week. So you can't complain, And
no, exactly, and I think that's a really, really good performance. I think they were struggling with tires too, on that. But like what? I hope that. Well, I don't know. I think if they're similar to sort of the Mercedes issues, or like, some teams are sort of different setups. So if you're struggling more with the tires, next race probably it's not going to be as good for them either. But from then on, like the other races, like to hopefully get to see him like do his last lap overtakes again and stuff like that.
I think because like we tested
really
at Barcelona, and Racing Point was very strong in Barcelona, so I could see like another Racing Point in front of McLaren and like somewhere around that, because just probably the car was kind of very well like made for the track. So and I think we need to talk about Racing Point, just a little issues that they had, and little problem with the law, I guess. Even if we just talk about it like very shortly, but we need to probably
absolutely. I mean, because Renault had formerly had filed a formal complaint about the brake ducts, right?
I think they filed like 2 or like 2 weekends in a row or something. They filed a complaint.
They started with the brake ducts anyway to sort of say, hey, there's something wrong. They look exactly the same and something like that. And in the end, they got fined from the FIA. I don't know what the cash value was.
It was 400,000.
400,000 for a smaller team like that is still.
Yeah, but when you're a billionaire, it's like.
Okay. I've never been a billionaire, so I don't know what the level.
What the guys were saying at Sky was like, I mean, it's definitely like it's very different from like Lawrence Stroll is very different from Racing Point. But I mean, so that was more like a joke than anything. But the serious answer is more like the money they saved in like R&D and everything. Yeah. But because they got plans to build the brake ducts, the money they saved in like R&D and engineering and testing and whatever is insane. Definitely worth the 400,000 fine. They saved way more than that. Way more.
Yeah.
And then who knows how much they saved on the rest of the car. So now apparently they want to file an appeal, and other teams want to file an appeal because it's not. The weird thing is that the race duct has been like found illegal for. Not illegal, but not following the rules for. I think it was the first Austrian race or something like that, right. or the second one. I don't know. But then for the 2 other races, they just took a little like a formal warning. So the fine and the points penalty was just for the first race. So apparently somehow they became legal in the following races, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I haven't really to be honest, I haven't really fully understood that either, because I think it's also like they don't need to, because I feel like there's more parts of the car that are designed in a similar manner.
They don't need to change anything on it. It's very weird. Like, how is it illegal and take a fine and a penalty and then, it's fine.
Yeah. But you can keep racing with it, and it's like you can keep sort of using it. So I think the idea was that the way it was designed wasn't within the guidance of, or within the law of what the FIA has sort of ruled, like the way you're supposed to design it, but that doesn't make the part itself necessarily illegal.
I think the problem was like that they found that it was not that they didn't reverse engineer the brake ducts only with pictures, and it actually had blueprints of how it was built. So I think that was the real problem. It was like, because I think it's legal to do it with pictures and reverse engineer and whatever, which is really tricky. But when you get plans, it gets very much easier. You don't need to reverse engineer anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think that was
pictures
the real,
can only show you so
problem.
much.
But how is it like okay? I think why wouldn't other teams do it? It's like, sure, I'll take a fine and a few points penalty, and then I can, for one race of the season and the whole rest of the season, I can race with it. It's very weird. I think it's a weird decision. I think it's like, or you say like it's legal and you should change it, and then you change it and it's fine, or you say it's fine and sure, race with it. Because it's like, if you get, I think, like if you're on the road and you get arrested for because your car is too loud or whatever, they're gonna definitely tell you like, come back, with your car fixed. And if you don't come back, it's like, it's not like the next time they're not gonna say like, oh, you were fined once. Yeah. Oh, it's fine. Oh, you can just go on with your car. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
You get one fine.
Okay.
After that, it's fine. You can just drive your car everywhere. It's fine. It doesn't work.
It'd be
like
amazing if that's how it worked. Yeah.
You can speed once. You can obviously you can be over the speed limit once, and after that you can just drive as fast as you want.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah.
It's okay.
But only at that spot where you already got a penalty for driving too fast.
That's amazing. That would be great.
You just think of like routes you drive all the time. There was definitely would be one point where it would be worth it to go a little bit faster. Not that we would encourage that at all. You know, drive
At all.
safely,
Don't do that. It's not great.
Exactly. But yeah, the whole thing is still going on, and I think it adds. For Formula One has always been about like innovation and like bending the rules and like sort of coming up with different ideas. And Mercedes have done that. Ferrari did that last year, which sort of had a similar outcome where it's like them and the FIA came to like an agreement or a settlement. Nobody knows what happened.
Even weirder. Like this one is kind of, you get a fine. The other one was like, nothing happened. Hey,
don't worry.
Don't ask
too
many questions.
No.
We deal with it. It was fine.
Yeah.
It's settled. Look, now they are.
I don't know how that works.
Now they are last. So why would you care?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now they're nowhere. Relax. But yeah, I'm not looking forward, but I'm absolutely interested to see where this goes in this season, and because the car is very competitive, like you can see, for a team
they are very confident that it's legal. Like they said, like Lawrence Stroll was like, I won't let my image be dragged into the mud, and I will fight and show that that we did it right.
Yeah.
I mean, and everyone is confident. Like Renault is very much like all the teams now are like kind of upset and then very confident they did something bad, and they are confident they did something like completely fine. So we'll see how it goes, in the following weeks, and I think it's definitely a topic to follow, and
absolutely we'll definitely
could have big like repercussions on the season and how it turns out. If they have to change something in the middle of the season, that could be huge. It could just literally drop them to the back of the field instantly.
Yeah, so, or they could, try and like get even better and fight for, not first but like third place with, the.
And also, like, if they have to change it, how much do they need to change it? How much is okay to like? How much of a difference does it need to be fine? It's like, should I make it like 0.0001 millimeter difference, and that's different.
Yeah, really, they'd have to throw out all the plans and like start again. Like if that would be, you're looking to sort of for a fair way. If it wasn't designed in house and they really shouldn't use it, But I think we'll keep an eye on that for sure.
Yeah,
and,
for sure, yeah.
100%.
I think there was a funny message from Leclerc just saying his team to be like, oh yeah, just talk to me turn 1 and 2 because I can't hear you when I'm flat out. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry, actually it's turn 3 and 4. I should know the corners number by now. I was like, it was
two weekends at the same track, numerous laps, and you just didn't know what number of corners. Yeah. That's great. Like I said, the team radios is so much fun to listen to.
Yeah, there is a little highlight of team radios on YouTube for this race, and it was good. That's why
we'll put a little link to that. Yeah,
very entertaining. Yeah, I think that was I think the main topics for the race. I don't think there was not much more that happened. Or at least huge. I think that was the main topics.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Gasly sadly finished 11. Had a very strong qualifying again. Russell had a very strong qualifying again, 18th. So that was not great.
Magnussen didn't finish DNF.
Magnussen didn't finish. Yeah,
that's upsetting for them.
I mean, Raikkonen finished 15th in the Alfa Romeo, so I guess that's the best he could probably do with the car he had. So,
Yeah, poor Raikkonen.
I think if Ricciardo wouldn't have spun, then he would have not have been lapped, and that would have meant that only the Racing Point, the Haas, and the Williams would have been lapped in this race.
Yes, 100%.
Which is interesting to see. Like only the bottom. I mean, if you're fair, like these three teams are definitely in the bottom, and the least performing. So I think it's good to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That the midfield is actually strong and it's not getting lapped. So yeah, and also AlphaTauri I think they must be happy with their cars. They were not very happy with it at all in the beginning of the season. Now they're fighting in midfield, even though they finished 10th and 11th, I think.
Fighting in the midfield with Ferrari. Great.
Yeah, they finished both cars in front of a Ferrari. So, that's not a bad weekend.
Oh my god, that is so bad. Yeah.
Right,
shall we go on to the next race next weekend?
Yes, let's do that.
With our predictions.
So we're going to go to Spain, Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah,
Sorry.
should
My
be.
Spanish accent is not.
I think.
Not great.
What do you like the track? What do you think of the track?
I think it's a great track. Yeah, 100%.
I
I think last year we had like a good amount of crashes and people going out and like a couple of. I think try to just remember it off the top of my head, but like the end from last year,
Let
at
me
least was like
I'll check the results
like-
right now. So
yeah. I think it was Hamilton, Bottas. I think Verstappen, like we're very used to now these days. But then the Ferraris were sort of there as well, and
it was
That had an interesting-
Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Vettel,
Yeah.
Leclerc. Sadly, I don't think the
Vettel,
Vettel Leclerc will be 4th and 5th this year.
maybe Leclerc, but like I don't know about Vettel if it continues like that. And that race had a moment, funnily enough, because we're talking about Ferrari and the preferred treatment of certain drivers, where Leclerc was ahead of Vettel for quite a while, and they wanted Vettel to overtake him, but it just didn't happen. The swap just didn't happen, and Vettel was on a different strategy and stuff like that.
True.
And it's like, yeah. So, but yeah,
Uh,
very much looking forward to the race next weekend.
Yeah, should be interesting race. Yeah. Yeah, I think that the cars are tested there, so they have data and stuff. So it should be, I guess, a fair race for it's not a new track, so everyone is used to it.
Yeah.
But I'm very much looking forward to next weekend, but I'm also looking forward to new tracks, which should bring like a different aspect to it.
gonna
I
be
think the
interesting,
tires
Oh,
were
100%.
interesting this week. I think a new track that no one knows is going to be very interesting. And if you can bring the
Yeah.
tires that are softer with a new track, I mean that's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Nobody knows anything. You don't know the track. You don't know the strategy. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that very much. Shall we do our predictions for
Yes,
next
let's
week,
do
though,
it.
before we
Let's
go
do it. Yeah.
just too far ahead. Would you like to start with your qualifying predictions? of the 2020
Yes.
Spanish Grand Prix.
I mean, how can I not say the same thing as they said last week?
You can always, mate. You have a free
Okay,
choice. This
let's
is a
be
free
crazy.
country.
Let's be
France
crazy.
is-
Let's say Bottas again is gonna somehow beat Lewis.
Beat Hamilton. Cool.
Yeah. Even though I don't really, I just want to be like a bit different. So let's just. I still see Hamilton being first, but let's say Bottas first, Hamilton second, and then
Who's third?
let's go crazy because Verstappen. I think the strategy this week was perfect for Verstappen to go on the hard.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why he didn't go third on qualifying, but whatever. Let's go. I know. It's a sad bet. It's not a nice
Do
bet
it.
because it's gonna be betting that Perez has a positive test again, and Hulkenberg is back again. So I'm gonna say
Right.
Bottas, Hamilton, and Hulkenberg like this week. The same result as qualifying this week for next week.
Yeah. If Hulkenberg comes back, or
Yeah,
is
that's my wild bet.
if
That's my
Par-
wild
if it's
card
really
bet.
unfortunate, Paris is still fighting COVID, which I hope I hope it won't take a toll on his health. But yeah, if he is still back, then
The problem is I've seen Will Buxton, or it's like he presents like the F1 like pre, whatever. Like he's on the
Yeah.
the F1 YouTube channel a lot, and he was saying like the problem with the test is that they have to. I think he has to test twice negative to come back, and the problem is that the test picks up on the disease itself. I think it can be active or not. It doesn't matter.
right.
It's gonna boot like positive. So it could be a while before it actually just goes completely away. Which is why
Yeah.
that's why I'm betting like a wild bet that he's gonna be back. Which still,
Matt's Wild Bats.
yeah, don't
It's a
really.
great name for
who knows?
show or something like
Hopefully, just one more race. That's it. We get two full race
that.
weekends.
Three is always a good number with anything. So 3 races with Hulkenberg this season, and then hopefully many more next season.
Yes.
That would be great. I'd say I think Hamilton has got Bottas again. I think he's not going to let himself get beat twice in a row.
That is
So
true.
Hamilton first for me, Bottas second. I can't say the same as you for third. I just can't.
I mean, I went a bit, different just to be different. I don't really believe it's gonna
Yeah.
happen this way. I still believe that you
No,
said
that's fair
exactly the right thing, and that Hamilton Hamilton, if he has a little bad weekend, he's gonna come back and destroy everyone the week after. So
That's usually what he does,
yeah.
right? Like he'll be,
Yes.
I don't know what he
Oh,
does,
yeah.
but like he'll be
I mean,
laser
Austria.
focused on next week.
Austria was like, hello.
Right? Yeah.
It was just a 1 week mistake, guys. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I'll be back way stronger next time around. For me, I think third place is Verstappen. Just seems to make the most amount of sense in that case.
Yeah.
Ferrari predictions though, really have no idea. Like the guy, don't know. I'd like to say
that's
that
gonna be.
Yeah. I'm gonna say 7th for Leclerc for me, and 10th for Vettel.
I was gonna say exactly the same thing.
At least we're the same, have the same opinion, I guess. That
You know what? I'll bet again. I'll go a bit different just to be, and I'll go.
be a bit different.
I'll go like Vettel. It's gonna be like, you know what? I don't need a team to have a good weekend. I'll just do it myself. So he's gonna go.
Right.
He's gonna go 7th, and Leclerc is gonna be behind him because just to show.
I thought you were
like-
gonna say something like 4th or something like that.
No,
Yeah.
that's good for Ferrari 7th. That's a 4th.
7th. It's not bad. It's better than this weekend.
And 9th for Leclerc. 7
Oh,
and
9th for Leclerc.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to seeing that race in just a couple of days' time. I love it. Honestly, having 3 races like back to back to back, and then having 1 week off, and then another 3 races is just great to me.
I was actually
Yeah.
confused. I thought there was a. Wait, I'm confused right now.
Oh, did I get that wrong? Is the calendar different to what I'm saying? Well, we are next weekend in.
Okay,
Spain,
I
right?
was just. I thought there was a week off between, but no. Okay,
It's this weekend, and then
cool, perfect,
Belgium
Awesome.
is afterwards. Then on the 28th. So yeah, that's
awesome.
awesome.
Perfecto. Yeah, and then race results. Then race predictions. Sorry.
Race predictions. Yeah, I mean, start me off.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. You know what? I think I'll go back to. Oh man, that's. You know what? Who cares? We established that we are very bad at predictions, so I'll just say whatever I hope it could be.
Did we ever say that? We're great at predictions.
We're very honest. I mean, let's not lie to ourselves, and to the
That's true.
audience we have. So let's
Our established audience.
be honest, and I'll say, where Verstappen started winning, he's gonna do it again.
He's got a taste for it now. He's
The
got a
track,
taste for
the
it now.
track where he had his first win in the Formula One, he's gonna come back in 2020 and win again. Somehow, I don't know how he's gonna do it this time, but he's gonna do it.
It's not going to be easy for sure.
I think I think it's. Let's say a Lewis and a Valtteri, just second and third, just like
Hamilton, Bottas,
same
yeah.
as this week. You know what? Yeah, that's the same exact like quali and race that I said. So perfect. That's it. But the thing is that I'll put there again, like last week, that Albon is going to finish 4th in this one.
Albon 4th.
I actually
that'd
believe
be
it.
really good to
This
see.
time, I actually believe it, and I think he's actually going to do it.
Yeah, I think so too. Like again, like we said, if he does just a bit better in qualifying, I think he's got enough speed in that car.
He tested the
enough sort of
track. He
race
knows the
performance.
track. I
Yeah.
think he's getting better with the car. So I hope he's going
I
to
think
finish
his confidence is getting better as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Verstappen 1, Albon 2. 1 that
Whoa.
would be amazing.
That
And
would be
Hamilton
insane.
three.
I mean, I was just gonna say, I still hope somehow at some point there will be like a double Mercedes DNF somehow. Just to
Oh,
put
it was
some
close
spice,
last weekend. So.
just put
yeah.
a little spice to the championship. Not anything bad, just not anything like not bad
Yeah.
vibe between the drivers, but just like a mistake or mechanical or whatever, and
Yeah.
just to put some, a little bit of excitement in a race, sprinkle a bit
Dash
of, and then we can have a very
Yeah.
exciting podium and then see different faces having trophies.
Exactly
and-
right. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, it's weird that we have to hope for DNF for them to
Yeah.
make the podium exciting. That's sort of a weird.
Imagine next week
But
double DNF, Verstappen, Albon, Hulkenberg. That would be a wild bet to do.
I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna put it.
Let's do it.
Let's put that in my bed.
That's
So
a great
Verstappen
prediction.
1, Albon 2. Oh my God, Hulkenberg 3.
That would be.
If Hulkenberg's even there.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine a best result than that. I would be. The season could end after that. I would be fine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the season, if Hulkenberg was there, the season would probably end for him then. So that'd be
True.
amazing if
So
he
a
gets that
season
podium
will end. Like a variation of the season will
for
end.
someone,
So,
right?
hey,
Exactly. Yeah.
But that
For
would
sure.
be amazing. That would be. I mean, yeah. If there was fans, imagine if there was the.
Oh my God, they would go crazy. It'd be absolutely
That would be amazing.
mental. Yeah.
I think Hulkenberg would have felt the most love he ever felt in his racing career. Yeah. Anyway, let's probably wrap it up
Ferrari-
because.
Oh, I thought we were gonna do Ferrari predictions. You not want to?
Oh yeah,
predict any
sorry.
Ferraris?
Let's do Ferrari prediction. Sorry.
Another
for
double
it.
DNF.
No, let's
Um,
do. Okay. what did I-
Vettel.
I would say Vettel 8 and Leclerc 10. They drop a bit.
Interesting. But you always think that Vettel is going to be in front of Leclerc. That's
It's not
I like
it's
I
not
like
that I
your
believe it. I just hope for Vettel's mental health.
I like your positive
It's like-
attitude.
I just hope for
Yeah.
his mental health and his sanity that he's gonna, I just
For
want
me,
him
it's going
to
to be
come out of this
Yeah.
season alive, and like mentally
yeah.
stable, That would be nice.
I don't think he's like unstable necessarily. I just want him to be a bit more.
No.
happy,
I don't
yeah.
mean like unstable. I just mean like he's not in a good state mentally.
I know what you said, Matt. I know what you said. If
He's
listening,
crazy.
better watch out. No, yeah, he's just unhappy. Yeah, for me, like I've put him at 5th. That would, I think, be a nice boost to his confidence again. You just get a good weekend. Like you said, just don't make any mistakes. Just have a decent, clean race and everything like that.
Nothing special,
and
but
then-
a clean race.
Yeah, Leclerc 7th for me.
Cool.
Mine is a bit of a wild guess for sure. Bit of a lucky dip there, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Now you can wrap it up. I think now we've said it all.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I think we've been talking again for I think a bit too long, but it is
There's a lot of things to talk about. I like chatting too, man.
It was an exciting
only-
race, to be fair.
It was great. I only get to talk to you like once a week. Like we don't talk outside of this. If
like
anyone
face
is
to
watching.
face, we definitely don't. Yeah, we don't have other Zoom chats except
Exactly.
this one. We also talk a bit after and before, so let's be
Just a little bit.
just
Because
a-
I'm just being polite. So
yeah. I mean, it's a pain every week. I'm like, okay, let's do this podcast again, man. Can't stand this dude, but whatever.
it's just because of me. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for listening. If you have been, thanks for watching. And
Yeah,
see you
we'll
guys
see you next
next week.
week. Bye bye.